Hello everyone, this is Kadir. Welcome to my Mind to Sri YouTube channel. Today I am going to talk about UCD process, data gathering requirements process. The UCD process helps to gather requirements for user experience design. The user experience design is that each and every interaction user will have some experience. They have own feelings, desires, thoughts, pains and goals. Ultimately, when they use something, if you want to know specific experience, you have to find a specific person who mostly using the product. We have to incorporate and understanding human psychology and human behavior into the product and services that we create. So finally, it's important to focus the people who are going to use your system. User-centered analysis techniques capturing requirements from the user's perspective. Some of user research methods I'm going to talk here. The first one is the personas, then user interviews and contextual interviews, user observation, focus groups, then card sorting, task analysis, surveys. First, we will look into profiles and personas. A profile describes a section of user audience based on the characteristics such as the technology used. Profiles clarify assumptions about users and the taskers, including the task environment, and communicate those assumptions. Profiles highlight the aspects of user group that influence design. For each user group, we need to create three profiles. The first one is user, then task and environment. So a persona is a model of person. They are fixed example. They are not any one human being, but they are concrete. So a persona is to include demographic information and also their motivation. Why do they want to use the system that you are creating? By knowing what your persona thinks, does and feels, it helps you build empathy and it helps you understand the states of mind, the emotions, the philosophy, the beliefs, the point of view of that user.
Card sorting is one of the user process that helps to learn how users think about the content and how they would organize the information on the website. The concepts are first identified and written onto simple index cards or post-it notes. The user group then arranges this to represent the groups logically they are familiar with. Card sorting helps to generate a category tree or taxonomy. It is a useful approach for designing information architecture, workflows, menu structure, or website navigation paths. To learn more about card sorting, please watch my card sorting lecture video.
Next, I am going to talk about field studies here. There are three dimensions of data gathering methods available in user-centered design. The three dimensions of data gathering methods are: first one is the direct, this indirect. The direct, it helps obtaining data from actual user. Indirect, obtaining data from user without direct contact. The next is the individual based group. Individual means one person at a time. Group means more than one person at a time. The next method is performance based discussion. Performance, the tasks are performed in the session. Discussion, the tasks are discussed, recalled, projected, opinions are given. Next, I am going to talk about direct individual discussion data gathering method, one-on-one direct interview with users. So how a particular user works and we understand user feeling and feedback from previous user experience. One-on-one interview are a good choice if it is difficult to have people perform a task. For example, online payment-based site. It also helps to complete a picture of their perspective and idea about payment instead of just observing one or two interactions. The first step is setting up an interview is deciding who it is that are going to interview. It may seem obvious, but the most important thing is to get people who are representative of the target user of your product. The advantages of the interview method are collects the most in-depth data as it is flexible and allows follow-up questioning. Interviewing can constantly recalibrate terminology and the nature of the questions, and we will ask questions about their experience directly. Next, we need to consider how should be effective interview questions. Interview questions should be clear and unambiguously worded, answerable, inoffensive, and neutral. Open-ended questions provide more responses in the participants' languages and responses. I provide an overview of the topic and expose issues for follow-up. They are useful when the complete answer set is unknown. Close-ended questions have limit the range of response and are useful for the clarifying issues. Next, I am going to explain how should we prepare interview and conduct. When you start interview, introduce yourself and project. Establish that the user is helping you. Explain how they might benefit from participation. Start the interview with questions that are easy to answer and make the user comfortable. Identify the topics for the interview if there is flexibility and ask questions that allow you to hear the user's terminology. Group questions into similar themes to which the user can relate and rearrange the questions based on the flow of the conversation. Introduce and end topics using close-ended questions and once the quantified data are covered. Open up discussions with the user into other areas. Complete the most important topics by the first half of the interview. Warm up to sensitive questions, if any, and ask them towards the end of the interview. Collect and or confirm demographics at the end of the interview. During the interview, you should be active listener. Active listener needs to intensely focus on the user in order to understand what they are saying as the listener. The interviewer should be able to repeat back in their own words what the user has said to the user's satisfaction. The interviewer doesn't have to agree with the user but rather be neutral and non-judgmental. Users who should be respected, their voice is being heard, the project will go well, they become passionate with the project. At the end of the interview, indicate that are covered all of your questions, inquire whether the user has any questions for you. And ensure they have your contact information and feel free to contact you. Reiterate confidentiality and let the user know when they can expect to see the first change. User observation. It is direct individual performance data gathering method. User observation is a method focused on the most realistic behavior possible. The expert watches the user as the user do their work in the real life as they naturally occur during the day of their own environment. User observation works best when the expert has already learned about the job, conducted interviews and is accompanied by someone who can translate unclear observations. Select users who are like the target audience. Avoid experts, managers, and complainers. The most important observation to record are the user's behavior. Great designs emerge through all sorts of approaches. That said, often a good strategy to watch someone doing and can understand their feedbacks, feelings, and frustration in a natural way. Of course, observing people isn't the only way to begin designing an effective user interface. We may combine with other user research methods, example user interview. Sometimes user tests work with a finished product either in preparation for a redesign or to root out any usability issues before launch. The next one is the contextual interview. It's a one-on-one user research method which given opportunity to observe users in their natural environment. During their interview, researchers watch and listen as users work in the user's own environment and better understanding of the way users work. This interview tend to be more natural and sometimes more realistic as a result. They are also usually less formal than lab testers and don't use tasks or scripts. We will be observing in natural way the users working and thinking. The contextual interview can be combined with usability testing. The next one is the task analysis. The task analysis is a method of closely examining the previous steps of users go through in accomplishing those tasks. This examination can be done either through interview, in which you get users to tell you stories about their experience, or through direct observation. In task analysis, we detect problems which are unnecessary steps, unnecessary complexity, redundant activities, bottlenecks, poor function allocation, poor distribution of skills, poor job enrichment. I am going to talk about some more additional user research methods apart from the field studies. The field studies such as interviews and user observations yield extremely rich data, yet have some drawbacks, for example expense and time. Complementary data gathering methods that are less expensive or less time consuming are referred to as complementary methods because their advantages and disadvantages are different than field studies. The focus groups. This is a brainstorming moderated discussion with a group of users, allow you to learn about the user attitudes, ideas and desires towards a specific product or service. This would be conducted by trained user experience specialists, persons or product target user who are recruited on the basis of the similar demographics, psychographics, buying attitudes or behavior. It has some special benefits or rapid feedback from users. Design team gets a window on users' stated priorities, generates product possibilities that stakeholders may have missed. The next method is join a place in development session, JAR session. JAR session is similar to a focus group, but it includes a cross section of stakeholders, engineers and users. They help getting rapid feedback on big decisions as they bring the users, developers and designers together. They can also help identify missed or unnecessary design. Next, I am going to talk about the surveys. The survey research is often used to collect users' opinions and feelings on our product and services. Survey research can be specific or widespread goals. It depends on the product and services. Today, surveys is used by a variety of different groups. Surveys offer a fast and cheap data collection method with the ability to cast a wide net quickly. Data collection and analysis can be automated to reduce time and cost. Surveys tend to focus on preference and rely on memory. It is harder to learn about performances. There are three types of surveys: the marketing survey, needs assessment survey, evaluation survey. Next, I am going to talk about online survey. Some websites host online surveys. They offer fair amount of flexibility in the types of questions you want to ask online. Example, single choice, text entry, yes or no, ratings, etc. For example, surveymonkey.com. Advantages of online survey is large audience in different parts of the world can participate. Amount of time and money spent is less. Analysis is easy and precise since it's automated. There are some disadvantages also in online survey. You can ask questions with a definite answer but no chance to probing on answers. Open to public is maybe threat to confidentiality. Difficult to control. Also one of the disadvantage in online survey. The developing a effective survey is analogous to prepare an interview. First, specify the research question. Be sure the survey will address the question adequately. Sample the relevant audience and determine the survey medium, example paper, online or phone. Create the questionnaire, pilot the procedure and refine and conduct the survey. Analyze the results and present the findings. There are four main methods of survey research: mail survey, in-person interview, telephone and internet surveys. From this method, find out what are the major decision points or areas of uncertainty in the thinking of the design team with regard to the usage of the product. Focus on those areas and find out what needs to be discovered. So now my conclusion is that UCD data gathering methods collects recommends and feedback from users' perspective. I hope you have learned some about data gathering methods in UCD. If you have any queries and doubts, please write email to help@mindindustry.com. Thanks for watching my channel. I will see you next time. Bye.